Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Ketvach Shavua Tov. We are learning Mishnah Shkalim, Paragimel, Chapter 3, Mishnah Beis, Mishnah 2. Today's Mishnah is going to be something that we have mentioned a number of times before, but this is the source of what we've been speaking about. B'shalosh kupos, with 3 baskets. Shalosh soyin, each one having the volume of a sa'ah, right? The 3 baskets. Each one is 3 sa'ah. Okay, 3 baskets. Each basket is 3 sa'ah. A sa'ah is a measure of volume ranging in modern equivalents from 2.2 to 3.8 gallons. Okay, that's a sa'ah. And now we're talking about 3 baskets, each basket being 3 sa'ah. And with these 3 baskets, tarmin es halishka, we would separate the money from the chamber. Remember, we mentioned many times before that all the shekels would be now stored in a chamber in the Beis HaMikdash. That's where the money's going to be stored. And now we're saying that when that there's a point where the monies are actually removed or taken out. Some of them are taken out from the chamber in order to actually buy the animals and everything that's needed for the communal sacrifices. The Mishnah tells us that when this was done, and we already previously learned that this was in the previous Mishnah, we learned it was done 3 times a year. Now we're talking about how it's done. It's done with 3 baskets. Each basket is 3 sa'ah. Now, that means the total amount of shkalim that we go ahead and we separate is 9 sa'ah. So why not just take 1 basket of 9 sa'ah and fill it up? Why do you have to do 3 baskets of 3?
Destroy the basket.
Assuming it'll be strong enough. So they bring down here, the reason they use specifically 3 baskets is based on a verse cited by the Gemara. It's based on a verse of the Torah. Okay, that's why they did it that way. All right, now, next thing the Mishnah says is, the kasav bahen, and on these baskets was written Aleph, Beis, Gimel. The first basket that was filled up got an Aleph. The second basket that got filled up got a Beis. And the third basket got a Gimel, because the equivalent of the numerical value of each letter, the Hebrew alphabet, the letters have a numerical value. So Aleph is 1, Beis is 2, Gimel is 3. And the reason why they went ahead and they numbered it was because whichever one was filled first, the mitzvah was done with it first. The idea here is that the reason they did it this way is because, I'm reading from the notes, this is because priority is always given to that which becomes available for a mitzvah first. These ones were taken for the mitzvah first, and therefore they're used first. Okay, and then the next one. So that's the first opinion of Mishnah. Shmuel says, Yavanis kasabahen, they were not written in the Hebrew alphabet, but rather in the ancient Greek alphabet. The Yavanis kasabahen, the letters were written in Greek. Alpha, Besa, Gamla. Okay, why would Rabbi Gamliel say that they were Greek letters? So the reason they say, and I'll read it to you again from the notes, this is from the Bartanura, the reason the Greek alphabet was used in the Beis HaMikdash was to fulfill Noach's blessing to his son Yefes. Right? After the story when Noach got drunk and Shem and Yefes covered him, Noach gave Yefes a bracha. What was the bracha? Let Hashem beautify Yefes, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, his brother. The rabbis interpret this verse this way. Let the Greek language, which is the most beautiful of all languages of the children of Yefes, dwell in the Beis HaMikdash, the tent of Shem. There is an idea that the bracha that Noach gave to his son Yefes, and what Yefes had a number of descendants. Yavan, Greece is one of them, and the bracha was that there will be that Yefes will have beauty, and that beauty will be able to rest in the tents of Shem. Shem is the ancestor of the Jewish people. So the point there is something about the beauty of Greece, as the ancient Greeks, the descendants of Yefes, that it's going to have a place in the tent of Shem in the Beis HaMikdash, and this is where it is. that the letters of the boxes that we identified which box was which was written. The letters were written in Greek. Okay, next. In Atorim Nichnas, the person, the Kohen, I believe it was the Kohen did it. Doesn't somewhere it says it was the Kohen that did it. I don't see that being mentioned here, but Ein Atorim Nichnas, the one who was separating the money, did not enter. Leibepargud Chamas, not wearing a hemmed garment. A hemmed garment. You know, on the bottom, you fold it up. You know why?
So nothing would get caught.
So no one should think that you're putting things in the hem. Nor do you go in wearing a sandal or a shoe, because we don't want people to think that you're sticking money into your shoe. Don't wear tefillin. Now again, we in the Mishna, tefillin, in the Mishna, tefillin was worn a whole day, not just by davening, it was worn a whole day long. The person had to take off his tefillin. You know why? Because they might think that he's going to undo the stitching and stick money in and restitch it. Or he's going to undo his stitching and put the money in. What's a kameya? Kameya is an amulet. And they explain here, an amulet is an inscribed piece of parchment or a packet of herbs, worn to protect the wearer from illness or other danger. The amulet is placed in a leather pouch and worn around the neck. So again, you walk with an amulet, people could think that they're going to stick money in there. Now, the Mishna explains why don't you go in wearing these things? Shemayani. Perhaps at some point in time, this person who separated the money is going to become poor. The Yom, when people are going to say, you know why he's poor? He became poor because of the sin involved with the chamber, because he stole money from there. That's why he became poor. It seems like if they're going to start talking about him, right, it's not like the guy walks in, oh, I bet you he took money. No. But if something happens, right, that they can say, oh, it's because of this that he became poor, that's what they're going to say. Or maybe one day he's going to become wealthy. The Yomer, they're going to say, you know, I became rich because he took money from the chamber. You know, I don't know how many times this guy could have done it and how much money he could have, you know, these were not like major coins, but that's what they're going to say. Now you may say, you know, the famous question, who cares what other people think? It's not true. So what do I have to worry about it for? Because a person has to satisfy people, meaning satisfy the scrutiny of people, as one has to make sure that he satisfies the scrutiny of the Rebbeinu Shalom of Hashem. As it says, and you shall be innocent in the eyes of Hashem and Yisrael, the Jewish people. You'll be innocent from Hashem and from the people. That means that you have to make sure you are innocent in the eyes of people. And we have another verse, which means, and you should find favor and good understanding in the eyes of God and man. And therefore we see from here that it is important that a person should make sure that there should be no suspicion in people's eyes from what he does. Okay, we are going to do another quick Mishnah Gimel, because it's a continuation from the previous Mishnah. Okay, so we were saying that there's going to be a point of time where someone's going to go into the chamber and he's going to fill up the baskets with money and use that money to buy the coin, to buy the what's needed for the communal sacrifices. So Shalbeis Rebbe Gamliel, the house Rebbe Gamliel, the members of the family Rebbe Gamliel, when it came time for the person to separate the money, they would walk in with the shekel between their fingers, meaning they wanted to be very clear, we're walking in here to give, not to take. They were trying to make sure there was no suspicion of them in even an earlier stage. When they're walking in, no one should say, oh, they're walking in, Rebbe Gamliel, the prince, you know, the people in control, they're walking in, they're going to take some money. No, the money is here. It's right here. I'm here to give the money. And then he would take it and throw it or put it in front of the person who's doing the separating. And the person separated would make sure that it would go into the basket, meaning they wanted their money to actually be used. Although we learned that when the separation is made, it's made for everyone, whether their coins have come, whether they didn't even designate coins yet, because everyone should have a portion in the communal sacrifices. Nonetheless, we did see previously that there is something about your coin actually being used, and not just, at the end of the day, being considered the leftovers to be used for other things. And therefore, because they wanted to make sure that their coin was actually used, they would go to that chamber in the base, in the Harabayas. It was not the courtyard of the base of Mikdash itself. So even if you weren't a Kayin, you could go there. I'm not aware that Rim Gamliel was a Kayin to say that it could have been anywhere else. And they would go ahead and put their coin and add their coin to the chamber. And the person who was separating would make sure their coin went into the basket, that it was therefore actually used. Next. Ein Teirim. The person doing the separating does not do so until he tells to other people. Who are the people? To the administrators of the Beis HaMikdash. Etroim, should I separate? And they say to him, Teroim. Separate. Shalosh Babim 3 times. Actually, the Bartanura says, he would say, Etroim, should I separate? They would say, Teroim, separate. He would then say, Etroim, should I separate? They would say, Troim, separate. Then he would say, Etroim, should I separate? And again, they would say, separate. After 3 times, he would actually do it. Why do they do it this way? So first of all, why 3 times? So they say it was the manner of the rabbis to require a 3-fold declaration before beginning a public act. This is not the only time that we have that. We have this. To show that the act was being done on behalf of the community. In addition, Ask Mishna 3 times publicized that the person withdrawing the shkalim not enter on his own initiative, so that no one would suspect him of taking coins for himself. So it was either this whole, should I do it? And the representative would say yes. That was either, again, to give it a certain level to show that this is being done on behalf of the community. Now, you could say, why it's so important to show the act is being done on behalf of the community. Is it the same thing? They say in addition. The second explanation they give is that no one should think he just, went in by himself. They should understand that he did it. He didn't go on it himself in order to try to take money. He's doing it, and the representative of Mikdash know he's doing it. And the 3 times is because it seems that was, for some reason, they did it 3 times. According to the first explanation, to show he's done on behalf of the community. Why is that necessary? I think one time I can tell you that I did see in a different sefer that this whole thing about like being kind of public and saying, should I do it? And they respond, should I do it? And they respond. They have something about the cutting of the Omer. We find the Mishna says the person before they cut the Omer would say, should I cut? Everyone would say, cut. They did it 3 times. It was actually a way of giving it significance. It was making a big deal about it. And therefore that gave it significance. So, again, maybe that's the explanation here also, according to the first explanation. Second explanation is, want to make sure it's clear, he didn't go in on his own. Second explanation is that it's making it clear it's done on behalf of the community, and it's really a way of publicizing or giving significance to this act that's being done on behalf of the community. But it was done 3 times, and why 3? Why isn't 1 enough? So Bartanura says this was the way the Chachamim did it. When they did this, they did it 3 times. Have a wonderful day.
Wasn't
and good Shema Tov.
wasn't to show that you